Marcus Cole stood in the morning cold outside Davidson Tower, steam rising from his styrofoam cup, 42 years old, wearing surplus military fatigues and a tattered jacket that still carried the ghost of his rank insignia. People rushed past him like he was invisible, just another homeless veteran holding a cardboard sign that read Army Ranger. Anything helps. God bless. He'd been stationed at this corner for 6 months now, watching wealth flow in and out of glass doors he'd never walked through. The irony wasn't lost on him. He'd protected this country for 20 years, led men through impossible odds in Afghanistan, earned 3 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. Now he protected a street corner and hoped for enough change to eat. But Marcus had learned that survival required vigilance. That's why he noticed the black SUV running the red light. Why his combat reflexes kicked in when he saw the teenage girl step off the curb, earbuds in, completely unaware. Time compressed the way it always did in crisis moments. Marcus dropped his cup and moved, his body remembering every drill, every split-second decision that meant life or death. He caught the girl around the waist and pulled her back as the SUV screamed past, close enough that wind from its passage tore his cardboard sign away. The girl stumbled against him, gasping. Marcus steadied her, checking for injuries with practiced efficiency. She was maybe 17, designer backpack, private school uniform, the kind of life he used to dream about giving his own daughter. "You okay, miss?" His voice still carried command, even after everything. The girl stared up at him, shock giving way to recognition of what almost happened. Oh my God, that car didn't even slow down. Marcus released her gently, stepping back. "You've got to watch those crosswalks." Drivers don't always care about rules. She was shaking now, adrenaline hitting delayed. "You saved my life. I wasn't even looking." Muscle memory. Marcus smiled, trying to ease her fear. Spent a lot of years keeping people safe. Old habits. The girl studied his face, really seeing him. Not just homeless, not just invisible, you're military, Army Ranger. 20 years, pride still lived in his voice, even when everything else was gone. She noticed his sign, the Purple Heart pin attached to his jacket. "What's your name?" "Marcus Cole, ma'am." The formality was automatic, drilled into his bones. "And you are?" "Emma Davidson." She pulled out her phone, fingers still trembling. "Can I get your number? I want to thank you properly. My father would want to thank you." Marcus laughed, the sound carrying decades of bitter experience. "I don't have a phone, Emma, but seeing you safe is thanks enough. Get home careful, okay?" Emma looked at his cup, now spilled across sidewalk concrete, at his cardboard sign destroyed by the SUV's passage, at the worn jacket and the haunted eyes that had seen too much. "Wait here," she said. "Please, just wait." Marcus watched her disappear into Davidson Tower, same building he'd been standing outside for months. He didn't wait. Experience taught him that gratitude faded fast when reality set in. Rich girl probably thought better of talking to homeless men once she was safely inside her father's empire. He gathered what remained of his belongings and headed toward the shelter, hoping they still had breakfast. But Emma Davidson wasn't like most people. She took the executive elevator straight to the 40th floor, bursting into her father's corner office, where Jonathan Davidson was reviewing quarterly reports. "Dad," she was breathless, still shaking. "A man just saved my life." Jonathan dropped his papers, coming around the desk fast. "What happened? Are you hurt? Some car ran a red light." "I wasn't paying attention." Emma grabbed her father's hands. "This homeless veteran pulled me back. I would have been killed." Relief and fear warred across Jonathan's face. The terror every parent feels when they realize how close they came to losing everything. "Where is he? I need to thank him." "Outside, at least he was. His name is Marcus Cole, Army Ranger." Emma pulled up her phone, showing her father the corner where it happened. "Dad, he has Purple Hearts. He saved my life, and he's living on the street." Jonathan Davidson built a real estate empire through calculated decisions and careful risk assessment. But this wasn't business. This was his daughter, his only child, the center of his entire world. "Security!" he called through his intercom. "I need eyes on the homeless veteran who is stationed outside our building. Marcus Cole. Find him now?" 20 minutes later. Marcus was 3 blocks away when a black sedan pulled up alongside him. Professional, quiet, expensive. Marcus tensed, recognizing private security. Men in suits who removed inconvenient people from valuable street corners. Mr. Cole, the driver's window lowered, revealing a woman in her 30s, earpiece visible. "Mr. Davidson would like to speak with you. It's about Emma." Marcus's survival instincts screamed trap. Rich men didn't invite homeless veterans into their towers for gratitude. They had them arrested for daring to touch their daughters, even to save them. "I didn't do anything wrong," Marcus said carefully. "Emma's fine. No one's in trouble." The woman's voice was professional, but not unkind. "Mr. Davidson wants to thank you personally," and Emma insisted. "She was very clear that you wait, and she feels bad that you didn't." The mention of Emma's guilt shifted something in Marcus. Combat taught him to read people fast, and this felt genuine. Reluctantly, he slid into the sedan's back seat, wondering if this was the biggest mistake of his current impossible life. Davidson Tower's lobby was all marble and success, the kind of space where Marcus's appearance drew immediate stares. Security guards moved closer, hands near radios. The professional woman from the sedan guided him past reception toward private elevators. Mr. Davidson's office. Emma's waiting. The elevator rose 40 floors, each second pulling Marcus further from the world he knew. The doors opened onto executive territory, where assistants typed at glass desks and million-dollar deals happened over coffee. Emma rushed forward the moment she saw him, relief flooding her face. "You waited. You came back. Your father's security is persuasive." Marcus tried to smile, but the space made him hyper-aware of how he looked, how he smelled, how he didn't belong. Jonathan Davidson emerged from his office, tall, commanding the kind of man Marcus had served under and protected his entire career. Officer class used to authority and immediate obedience. Marcus Cole. Jonathan extended his hand, no hesitation despite Marcus's appearance. "Thank you for saving my daughter's life." The handshake was firm, genuine. Marcus found himself responding automatically. "Anyone would have done the same." "Sir, anyone didn't. You did." Jonathan's voice carried weight, the kind that made boardrooms listen. "Emma tells me you're Army Ranger, 20 years of service." "Yes, sir. Retired 2 years ago." The word retired felt like ash in Marcus's mouth. Jonathan studied him, seeing beyond the homeless exterior to something else. Purple Hearts, 3, Bronze Star, multiple deployments. Marcus kept his voice steady, refusing to beg or explain. "And now you're standing outside my building asking for spare change." The bluntness would have offended most people, but Marcus had lost the luxury of offense. "Transition back was harder than expected, sir. PTSD." Jonathan asked directly, not dancing around it. Among other things, Marcus met his eyes, refusing to look away. "Lost my marriage, lost my job, lost my housing, still working on finding my footing." Emma moved closer to her father, voice urgent. "Dad, we have to help him. He saved my life." Marcus tensed, pride warring with desperation. "I'm not asking for charity, Emma. What happened this morning doesn't obligate you to anything." "No, but it obligates me to see you clearly." Jonathan's voice shifted, becoming thoughtful. 20 years of service, leadership experience, crisis management skills. "Marcus, what did you do in the Rangers?" "Squad leader, tactical operations, personnel management, logistics coordination, led 40 men through combat deployment in Kandahar. The military competence came through despite everything else, and civilian employment since discharge." Jonathan pressed. Marcus's jaw tightened. "Construction work when I could get it? Security positions that lasted until background checks revealed my PTSD diagnosis? Employers say they support veterans until it's inconvenient. That's criminal." Emma's voice carried genuine anger. "You served this country. You deserve better." "Deserve and receive are different things, Emma." Marcus kept his voice gentle, not wanting to burden her with his reality. Jonathan was quiet, studying Marcus with the assessment of someone who built empires through recognizing value others missed. "Marcus, I'm going to make you an offer. My company works with multiple veteran employment programs, but frankly, they're not working well enough. Too bureaucratic, not enough personal accountability. Sir, I appreciate the thought, but I'm not looking for pity employment." Pride still lived in Marcus. The last thing survival hadn't stripped away. Not pity, investment. Jonathan gestured toward his office. "Come inside. Let's talk about what happens when someone who knows how to lead gets actual support instead of empty platitudes." Marcus followed, feeling Emma's hopeful eyes on his back. Jonathan's office was power-made visible, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Oakland, photographs showing development projects across 3 states. But what caught Marcus's attention was the military shadow box on the credenza, displaying medals and a folded flag. "Marine, sir?" Marcus asked quietly. "My father. Vietnam." Jonathan's voice carried old grief. Came home to protests and unemployment. Took him 15 years to build stability. I was 10 when we finally stopped moving between shelters. The revelation shifted everything Marcus understood about the man in front of him. "You understand then?" Marcus's voice roughened with unexpected emotion. "How fast everything falls apart when the country you served decides you're inconvenient. I understand that we're failing you." Jonathan sat, gesturing for Marcus to do the same. "And I understand that saving my daughter's life this morning was instinct. Training, the same reflexes that kept your squad alive in combat. That value doesn't disappear because circumstances change." Marcus sank into the leather chair, feeling its comfort like accusation. "What are you proposing, sir?" "A job, real employment with my company." But more than that, Jonathan leaned forward, intensity replacing business formality. "I want you to run our veteran integration program, design it from scratch, make it actually work. Hire and mentor other veterans who are falling through the same cracks that caught you." The offer was so far beyond what Marcus expected that he couldn't process it. "Sir, I've been homeless for 6 months. I don't have credentials for program management. You have 20 years of leadership experience and first-hand knowledge of every failure. Point in veteran transition systems." Jonathan's voice carried conviction. "That makes you the most qualified person I could hire. And frankly, Emma's right. You saved my daughter. That creates an obligation I take seriously." Marcus felt tears threatening. The first time in months he'd allowed himself to feel hope. "I don't know what to say. Say you'll accept housing assistance while you get back on your feet. Say you'll let us cover the therapy you need but can't afford. Say you'll show up Monday morning and start designing a program that ensures no veteran ends up invisible on street corners." Jonathan's voice gentled. "Marcus, you spent 20 years taking care of others. Let someone take care of you." Emma had been quiet, watching the exchange with fierce attention. Now she spoke, voice carrying her father's intensity. "When that car was coming, you didn't hesitate, you just moved. That's who you are, Marcus, someone who protects people even when it costs you everything. It's what Rangers do." Marcus wiped his eyes roughly. Years of military discipline fighting against overwhelming relief. "We leave no one behind." "Then let us bring you back." Jonathan stood, extending his hand again. "Not as charity, as family. Because my daughter's alive because of you, and that makes you family." Marcus took the offered hand, feeling the strength of commitment behind it. "Monday morning, sir. I'll be here." "Not sir, Jonathan." The correction was gentle. "We're partners now." Emma showed Marcus to HR. "Let's get paperwork started and arrange temporary housing." As Emma guided him toward the elevator, Marcus caught his reflection in polished glass. Still haunted, still carrying invisible wounds. But something in his eyes had shifted. Not hope, not yet, but possibility. "Thank you," he said quietly to Emma, "for seeing me, for remembering. Thank you for proving that heroes don't stop being heroes just because the world stops paying attention." Emma smiled, fierce and determined. "Dad and I are going to make sure everyone sees what we see." "You're not invisible anymore, Marcus." 6 months later, the Davidson Tower Conference Room hosted its first Veteran Employment Summit. 50 Oakland business leaders filled chairs, listening as Marcus Cole presented integration strategies that actually worked. Emma sat in the front row beside her father, watching the homeless veteran she'd met on a street corner command a room full of power with quiet authority. Marcus wore a suit now, counseling twice a week, living in company-provided housing while he saved for his own place. But more importantly, he'd hired and mentored 37 veterans into stable employment across Davidson Industries and partner companies. "The key is personal accountability," Marcus was saying, clicking through a presentation Emma had helped him design. "These aren't charity cases. They're trained professionals who need support, not pity. Medical coverage that includes mental health, flexible scheduling that accommodates therapy, mentorship from people who understand military culture." Jonathan leaned toward Emma, voice low. "Best hire I ever made. Best save I ever made," Emma replied quietly, remembering the morning that changed everything. After the presentation, business leaders swarmed Marcus with questions, wanting to replicate his program. Emma watched him field inquiries with the same calm competence he'd shown, pulling her from danger, leading men through combat, surviving impossible circumstances. That evening, as the crowd thinned, Marcus found Emma and Jonathan near the windows overlooking Oakland. The city glittered below, possibilities written in light. "Thank you," Marcus said simply, the words carrying 6 months of transformation, for seeing potential instead of problems. "Thank you for reminding me why my father built this company." Jonathan's voice carried emotion he rarely showed, not just for profit, but to create value, to lift people up, to recognize that circumstances don't define character. Emma moved closer, studying Marcus's face. The haunted shadows were still there, probably always would be, but they shared space now with purpose and belonging. "That morning feels like a lifetime ago." "It was," Marcus agreed. "For both of us, you were the girl who didn't look before crossing. I was the invisible veteran. People stepped around. And now?" Emma asked. "Now I'm the woman who learned that one moment of inattention could have cost me everything. And you're the veteran who proved that heroes don't disappear just because society stops seeing them." Marcus smiled, genuine warmth replacing practiced survival. "I spent 20 years protecting people. I thought that purpose died when I left service, but you and your father showed me it just changed form. We didn't show you anything." Jonathan's voice was firm. "We just removed the obstacles that prevented everyone else from seeing what was always there. Leadership, integrity, courage, those don't disappear because life gets hard." The city stretched below them, full of invisible people waiting to be seen. Veterans living in shadows, potential buried under circumstance, value dismissed by those too busy to look. "The next program phase launches next month," Marcus said, looking at the lights. "We're partnering with Oakland Housing Authority to create veteran-specific transitional units with wraparound support services, mental health, job training, family counseling, the complete integration package." "How many units?" Jonathan asked, though Emma suspected he already knew. 200 to start. Room for expansion, as we prove the model works." Marcus turned from the window, meeting their eyes. No veteran should have to choose between rent and therapy. No family should fall apart because the country we served can't figure out how to serve us back. Emma felt pride swell in her chest, fierce and protective. "You're going to change everything, Marcus, not just here, but everywhere this program spreads." "We're going to change everything," Marcus corrected gently. "None of this happens without you stepping off that curb, without Jonathan believing that saving his daughter made me worth seeing, without both of you treating me like family instead of a project." "You are family," Jonathan said simply. "The day you pulled Emma back from that car, you became family. Everything since has just been living up to that truth." They stood together in comfortable silence, watching Oakland's lights. 3 people connected by one moment of crisis that became ongoing transformation. Emma thought about alternative timelines, the ones where Marcus hesitated, or she died, or her father offered money instead of purpose. How many invisible people were waiting for someone to see them, truly see them, beyond circumstances and assumptions? "I have something for you," Jonathan said, pulling an envelope from his jacket. "Partnership papers, 20% stake in the Veteran Services Division. You built this program, Marcus. You should own part of it." Marcus stared at the envelope like it might disappear. "Sir Jonathan, I can't accept this. It's too much. It's equity, not charity. You're generating value.